This is Jay Teaches Reading for All, Lesson 22, the W lesson. And let's begin with a review of the sounds of the letters. Short A, apple, N. Nut, B. Bat, C. Cap, D. Donut, E. Egg, F. Flag, G. Gun, H. House, I. Indian, J. Jet, K. Kite, L. Lamp, M. Mountain, N. Nut, O has two sounds. Octopus, ostrich, P. Pig, Q. Quarter, R. Rake, S has two sounds. Snake and Z. Zipper, T. Top, U. Umbrella, V. Vase. And we'll get to W shortly. Now we're going to review letters and true and false. I've decided to do one complete lesson review with the with the words and then the true and false, instead of doing the words and then going back and do the true and false. Just makes things a little simpler for me. I don't have to shuffle papers as much. All right. This is a review of the U words. Here we go. Up, 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 cup. I should have said up and pup. Cup, and then fun, bun, gun, run, sun, us, bus, us, cuss, us, fuss, us, muss, us, Russ, us, Gus, tub, sub, cub, bum, gum, some, hum, rum. And now, teachers, if you'd like, press pause and have the students read some or all of the words to you for extra practice. Now a review of the true and false. Again, teachers, have the students read these to you. Press pause. Now we'll review lesson 21 words first. This is the V lesson. And first word. An, van. At, that. Al, val. Vac, vac. Ick, Vic. Et, vet. Est, vest. And bev. We got a little visitor, a little jumping spider that wanted to jump in to the action there, and I had to jump him out. Okay, teachers, again, press pause and have students go over any of those words that you think would be helpful. I'll cover up the true and false for right now, at least most of the true and false. Go ahead and do that. Press pause. And now have the students read the true and false to you. Press pause again. Now we go to our new letter, the letter W, which looks like a double V, doesn't it? And I told you I was going to explain to you why it's called a W rather than a double V. And the explanation gets a little complicated, so I'm going to shorten it. You can look it up on your own on the internet. It's pretty interesting. But in the 7th century, Latin started to be used in Old English. Actually, it may have changed to Anglo-Saxon, and Latin started to be used, and they needed a letter to represent the W sound. So they decided on a double U as the symbol for that W sound. Well, when Norman scribes in the 11th century joined the two U's together, they came up with a double V symbol. And in 1476, when the printing press came into use, that worked well, but it never changed its name. It continued with the original name of the W. So that's a shortened explanation, and you can find out more online. Now, for printing practice, folks, you're going to make a double V. You make one V and attach it to a second V. The small W is made the same way, just smaller. And of course, the sound W should be made by the student after each practice until you're satisfied the student knows that sound. And it goes with our picture of window. Window. go ahead and press pause, those of you who are having your students practice printing. All right, now we're going to have the new words. And they are will, win, wick, wig, wet, well, Wes. Wes is boy's name. West, like east-west. When, whack, wag, wham. Young students might need to know that well can mean to be in good health. Like, my sister was sick, but now she is well. Or it can mean a deep hole, usually dug to reach water. Whack means to hit something hard, and it makes a loud sound, and wham is very similar to that. And I'll leave west and wig and wick for you teachers to explain, and I know you'll have fun doing that. So press pause and let the students read those words to you. Okay, I should have mentioned that a couple of these words, 3 of them actually, have a silent H. When, whack, wham. You don't hear the H. It is silent. And the next thing we're going to do is have printing and saying the words practice 1 to 3 times. And I reduce the number of practice words to 6: will, wet, well, west, when. I think you should use at least one word that has a silent H, just to give the student practice in that. And wag. So we've covered the vowel sounds in these sample words. So you can go ahead and do that. Press pause. And now teachers have the students read the true and false twice, once silently, and the second time out loud, giving you their final true and false answer and their reason for that answer. Press pause. My answers: number 1, Wes can whack a wig off a hog. Now, if it's such a crazy situation that a hog actually has a wig on, I suppose Wes could whack it off. But this is just too silly to be true, and I think most students would put false. Number 2, Wes will dig a well. It is wet. Since a well is a deep hole to reach water, very possibly true. Number 3, Quinn can wham a wet sack. It will sag. Now, very young students are not going to relate to this all that well because they probably have never seen anything like this happen, but it is actually possibly true. But because of lack of experience, a student might put false because they don't fully understand the possibility. Number 4, Sis will run when a duck quacks. Now, if Sis is kind of jumpy and scaredy cat type of little girl, she might, but most kids, they're attracted to quacking ducks. So it could go either way, but I think most students are going to put false for that one. All right, our next lesson, lesson 23, is going to be the letter X. And it's another unusual letter. The sound of X that we're going to use is ks, which is represented by KS, ks, like an axe. But X is sometimes the beginning letter in words, and it can sound like itself, X, like in X-ray, but most often it sounds like Z, like in the boy's name Xavier, which is actually spelled with an X. And there are many other words beginning with X that sound like Z. But when X is not the first letter of a word, then it most often sounds like X, like in axe. So we'll see you in the next lesson, the X lesson. Not the X-Files, but the X lesson.